So here's my 1997 Klr650. It's got just over 10,000 miles on it. I bought it maybe a month and a half ago. It wasn't running when I got it. It had been in a barn for 2.5 years. The carburetor was pretty messed up, so I just bought a new one for it. Battery was shot, got a new one of those. The front tire, I rode it on the original tire, but it was sketchy, so I changed that. It's got some fresh little spikies still on there. It is a Dunlop. It's a 50/50 style tire. It's brand new, so you don't have to worry about that. The rear tire is a Schenko trail tire. The owner told me it was changed just before he put it away. It still has the little castings, or whatever you want to call them, in the tire tread, and it feels pretty good going down the road, so I don't have any doubts about that. Brake pads are probably going to get changed soon. They're not worn down, but they are a little rusty. On the front, at least. I haven't messed with the rear because it feels really good. The front caliper I'm rebuilding. I got a kit for that coming. It does have a new tube in the front as well. Coolant looks pretty clean. I haven't done anything with that. Brake fluid looks clean. Haven't done anything with that. Most of the time, after you get a bike that's 25 years old, brake fluid no longer is see-through. So somebody in the past has done well on the brake fluid for the front. I can only assume the rear is pretty close. You can see the level, but it's hard to see through these reservoirs anyway. The exhaust is fully original. Other than this right there, there's no real rust on it. I cleaned it up. You know, it had mud and stuff on it just due to age. It looked dirty, but it's pretty clean. It's nice and quiet. Some people would say it's restrictive, but the bike ride's good with it, so I didn't bother messing with it. Let's see. I changed all the lights over to LED with the exception of the 2 rear directionals. If I change those to LED, then all 4 lights blink when I put on the directionals, so I just didn't bother doing those. It's got an LED brake light, which is basically the same brightness as stock, but it uses less electricity. The front one, the headlight, I mean, and the front directionals are all LED. It is much, much better than stock. I changed out the blinker relay as well, so there are no resistors in this thing that get hot when you turn on the blinkers. The high and low beam actually has a high and low beam. Most aftermarket cheap LEDs, you throw them in there and they just throw a blob out, but this one actually has high and low. Let's see. I'm sure I've already gone over this once, but it's got a new carburetor in it. It's an OEM knockoff, but you know what? I put it in, I shimmed the needle just a little tiny bit, and this thing pulls like a freight train. I've had no issues with it. Most of the time it starts without choke, but I do still use the choke just for the elevated idle when it's cold. It's got a clean K&N filter in there. I didn't bother, you know, changing it because, like I said, it's clean. Still has the original intake. The snorkel and everything is still in there. You can't see it with the side cover on, but I did not, you know, I didn't want to do any real mods to this thing. Chain is pretty decent. The sprockets look good. I can only assume that this is probably the second chain and set of sprockets that this bike's ever had, but I'm not really sure. I don't see any leaking fluids from the shocks, front or rear. It's a soft ride. A friend of mine calls it riding on a couch. I wouldn't disagree. It's actually pretty comfortable. I've taken it off-road a little bit, but nothing major. It's got a plastic skid plate, so I didn't really want to go ham on it. The bike had been tipped over at least once in its past life, so there's, you know, a little tiny bit of a whatever on the gas tank. It's nothing major. Inside of the gas tank's clean. I think some of the parts had been replaced, like the radiator reservoir might have been changed from the tip over. I don't know exactly, but other than normal wear and tear from your boots resting on the engine's nice and clean. You know, a lot of the original finish is still there. It's not like super clean. I haven't cleaned the bike. I literally got it to beat up on it, thinking I wouldn't care about it, but it's in better shape than I originally thought it was. So I have decided to flip it. You know, I like riding it. It's fun. It's a little bigger than I wanted. So that's the only reason that I'd be willing to sell it or trade it for something smaller, actually. You know, I'd prefer, as far as trades are concerned, another dual sport, just a smaller one. Got to be electric start. Got to be bigger than a 250. So that leaves a lot of room for, you know, trade opportunities. You know, I prefer Hondas. This was kind of a, I went to look at the bike, had no idea what it even was. KLR's got a really long history of being, you know, it's a well-followed bike. It runs good, and I'll start it up. Just for grins, I won't use choke. We'll see if it actually fires right up. It should. So neutral light. And that's how it always starts, even without choke. It did come with a, yeah, actually, you can see it's nice and quiet. There's no exhaust leaks. I can cover it up and it'll stall, so there are no exhaust leaks. It had a Corbin seat on it when I got it. I changed it out for a stock one because, well, it didn't fit my frame. Me, personally, I did not fit well on it. I want an actual dirt bike seat, not something for the street. But I'll include the Corbin seat too if you are interested in that. This seat's off of a 2005. It's much newer than the bike. It was kept indoors, so the seat has no tears. It's complete. It's very, very soft still. It feels really like a dirt bike seat. So, and you know, if I don't end up selling it, then, you know, it's not like I'm going to be disappointed. I still ride it. I've put 400 or 500 miles on it since I got it. It's fun to ride. I have a 2021 CB500 that I ride a lot, and honestly, when I got this, I didn't ride that for 2 weeks. This thing is that fun to me. Like I said, I just wanted something a little smaller. I don't need to ride a dual sport on the highway, so I don't need a 650. I've had it to 70. It has no shakes. It's not scary. And it's not even really that tall. I mean, for a KLR 650, it's only got a 35-inch seat height. There are bikes out there that are taller. This is like 400 pounds wet, but it doesn't feel like 400 pounds, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I haven't ridden it with a full tank of gas, and I don't intend on it because this tank holds like 6 gallons. Let's see. Long-winded for a video, but I'm just trying to think of all the details that a person might want to know about this thing. I did throw a set of these cheap little Walmart plastic storage boxes on the back. They're just mounted to the plastic the utility tray, and they've got a small seal in the top of them. We've been in several rainstorms, and I've not had any water get into them, so I mean that's kind of cool. You know, I use one for tools and stuff, and the other one for my registration and whatnot. I got these just because I couldn't find anything else that was really cheap to just hold a few things. So I haven't been disappointed with them. You can do what you like with them afterwards. They're pretty securely mounted. I have not had any issues with them moving around too much. Well, that's all I can think of for now. Oh, well, you know what, I'll tell you one more thing. I did replace the choke cable as well when I did the carburetor, because the original cable was just about that long, and you had to use a pair of vice grips to start the thing originally. The original carburetor, I still have it, but it's junk. I'll include that if you want it. If you want to ultrasonic clean it and maybe use it, honestly, if you ride this thing the way it is, I don't think you'll ever even think about the stock carburetor. Oh yeah, like I said, the battery's new. I rewired from the charging circuit to the battery because the wiring was kind of questionable. And so that is now in proper order. It charges really, really well. When I first got it, it would actually die if you just let it run. So that's not a problem anymore. The cooling fan works. If you let it run long enough, it gets up to temperature and that runs just fine. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun bike. I've taken it on some trails. Like I said, it's not by any means uncontrollably heavy or too tall or anything. I just got the new front tire put on yesterday, so I haven't really ridden on it much. There might be 10 miles on it now. The rear tire probably has 600 miles on it. It's still in pretty good shape. Yeah, so I mean, any other questions, just ask me, really. If you've got any ideas on a trade for, like I said, a dual sport over 250, respectable age, you know, within same age as this bike, so 20-25 years, I'd consider them. You know, if you can ride the bike to a meetup location and I can ride this to meet up, then that's a huge plus. I don't really want to have to fix another bike. Like, I got this one because it did run when I got it, but the, you know, jump starter and starting fluid was the only way I heard it run. But if you can ride something to a meetup, I can easily ride this. I'd think nothing of hopping on this and riding 50 miles or something. Not that I really want to go that far to look at a bike, but yeah, I'm ranting at this point. So anyway, let me know what you think, and we'll catch up. Thank you.